Hey guys, we are at YCS Houston and Pascal has just won, crowd popping off in the USA. And Jerome took over the broadcast and has started streaming. Now, the balance is gonna be crazy, and while I wish I could do it live, it was actually too loud, I couldn't hear anything, so now we're refilming the second after, and my cameraman Cameron here is going to read it off instead on his phone, because I didn't hear it. I couldn't react properly, but okay. What's unlimited? I heard dangers.
Okay, so we're gonna start up at the top.
Yeah.
Cyberjar.
Yes, called it, irrelevant. Yeah, cool.
Danger Jackalope.
And Tsuchinoko?
Yes.
Cool. Losing a 3 is awesome because the danger cards are some of my favorite. Use them on a graveyard heavy decks. Although Curious obviously Curious is banned and Snow is banned, it's probably not going to do too much. That being said, they are very cool cards. They are at least more playable than Cyberjar, and if this card had to become playable again, these cards, it wouldn't surprise me that much. So cool cards to own if you don't.
My favorite unlimited, Eva.
Eva is pointless. That card is like a one of when you play it, so irrelevant, whatever.
And then Monkey Board.
Monkey Board of 3, I guess makes sense, the new Performance deck. I don't know if you can play it in that deck, but in this day and age, pendulums, who cares?
All right, so for the semi-limits.
Semis, and this one was long, right? Because it went on for a while, but I couldn't really make out what was going on.
Okay, so we have Black Dragon Collapse Serpent.
Okay, so that's the only one I think I heard. That one is really cool. That was at 1 before. So the thing is, in Master Duel, right, we have these cards, they don't do anything. They are very playable though. And it wouldn't surprise me if Dragon Link returns some form or this is used in some Chaos variety, because for all intents and purposes, you can play these alongside Malice cards. And they are really, really good Link fodder. So do not be surprised if these pop up in the meta again, but just like the danger cards, yeah. Power level's there, just not at the right moment. They need the right synergies to go back into focus.
All right, so next up, I'm just gonna go because they're in a group. We have X, Ice, and Sword Rising.
Wait, all got semi'd?
Yes.
X, Ice, Sword. So the starters cut down drastically. But with Tachyon and Ascension, that's not important. I don't like this hit. So we talked about X Arena 1 is my prediction. X Arena 2 is weirder. So X being a 1 matters more because then you can't get it for follow-up unless Duo resolves and gets crossed. Because then if you use it on turn 1, you can't have it search a second, and the second one acts in twins as your way of pushing past. With 2, that's enough to do that. You don't have one for the 3rd turn, but that's not a huge deal. Consistency-wise, it's not going to matter that much with Ascensions and Tachyons. Yes, they are worse than just hard drawing Ice and whatever, but I don't know how much makes a difference. And 2 Ice versus 3, very minimal hit to the Fiendsmith deck. I would not be surprised if that's minimal in terms of hits.
Same kind of thing. Dormouse, White Rabbit, and Malice and Underground are all at 2.
What the? I don't like, this is like the Master Duel approach, but where Master Duel approach works of semiing things is they do a lot every month, and it adds up. This is not enough to have too much impact immediately. Malice does have a problem sometimes where if you don't see names, the deck just falls apart. So I guess that is a real thing. Now you force play Terraforming, but there's other cards to play to boost consistency, because like Tachyon in Ryziel, if you need extra cards, they are a bit worse, but Silent Mining is still a 3 and very functional. So I don't think this makes really any meaningful impact to Malice. Maybe make it a little weaker to Ash, which is actually meaningful, I guess, because right now it just does not matter about Ash at all. But not huge impact. I still expect Malice and Ryziel, unless the other hits are criminal, to be the big threats, but yeah.
All right, next up we have Morphing Jar.
Why just put it to 3? Okay.
Snake Eye Ash.
What? It feels very funny coming from Ash just being so recently hit. I really think this deck has potential with Doom Dragon and Cross Sheep, that interaction being some of my favorite things. If you want to see what that could do, look at my Crystal Beast deck list, the 11 negate combo from back in January. There's other things you can do with it. You can play it, obviously not in Crystal Beast, but those cards are very good, even in that original. The other problem with it, though, is it's particularly weak into Detonator. So timing-wise, it's not a good format for them.
So next up, we also have Snake Eyes Poplar.
Oh, so these you can put together.
Yeah.
Okay. Poplar to 2. Cool. Honestly, this isn't huge, but the biggest thing is now when you draw Poplar, you wanted to Scream before because you couldn't Bonfire or Ash for Poplar. Now I guess you don't have to deal with that as much, but normal summoning and you can't search originals is actually way worse.
Next up, Unchained Soul of Shavara.
Shavara to 2. Put them to 3. I called this to 3 as the one hit, I think. I can't remember my prediction exactly, but I think this is one of them. I do love this though. This card is awesome, and 2 does make a big difference because some Seizure lines you want to have 2 6s. and that's while one Shavar is in your hand already for follow-up or for playing your opponent's turn. And obviously, if one's in your hand and it's out one, the other 6 has to be a second Shyama, and that is big no-no. So I'm happy seeing that, although new modern versions of the deck play Engraver.
And then the last semi-limit's going to be Wyver Burster. So same thing.
Oh, yeah, okay. This makes more sense, 2/2. Yeah, these could legitimately be threats, because when we're factoring Master, we always have to remember the aspect that Maxi is legal and it's best of one. Both are huge, overbearing kind of factors in that format. Black and white are great cards, and it may take very little for them to be good again. Maybe right now, because LP and Agripane are gone, the dragons aren't as impressive, but still, they can very easily be playable again. Like, what if you play like Fiendsmith, Chaos Ruler, or not Chaos Ruler, Chaos like Dragon Link, Blue Eyes? That could work. Maybe don't even include Blue Eyes in that.
All right, ready for the limits?
Limits, what we got?
First one, hot off the presses, Bestial Druis Worm.
We're switching places with Master Duel. I have never had a problem with the Bestials except Magnemite. Magnemite is the only one that's a problem, because searching like Genroku or even Black and White Dragon and Dragon Link was just crazy. Magnemite, if it could only search Bestial, searching Lebellion is very good. But if like that's in theme and it's not crazy broken, I'd be okay with it. The fact that it searches any dragon is so stupid. So I hope that's on the ban section. I mean, in reality, it means you play more other Bestials. Druis Worm's not a huge difference. The Send effect is noticeably different, I guess, and better into Detonator. But with cards like Twin existing, it's not like the hugest deal.
Next up, your favorite card in the world, Dimension Shifter.
Snow? Oh. I thought, dude, you can't say that. My favorite card I thought you were about to say Snow's coming back to 1, and you had me so excited. Why would you do that to me? Shifter to 1 is fantastic, though. I would much rather ban it, but we called this one. I feel like this one is a long time coming, because it really, like, it was on the radar before, but it became very, very present with Malice, and I think Konami realized, okay, we got to make this like an ace power card. People will still get very salty when it happens to them, myself included, but now it's like it happens a lot less. And while it still sucks that it will happen, as playing Master Duel at least, it happens a lot less. It really does, and the math does show that. So that is nice. Okay, what's next? Anything good?
Masterpiece.
Called this one as well. Again, this could go to 3. Master Duel proved it, and that's not a Maxi issue, because it obviously makes, like, if anything, it'd be better in a Maxi format, because those cards go into Maxi. That card, we've been over this several times. It's not the problem card. It's the floodgates that are, and there are enough answers to it in modern formats. The card is somewhat like rogue playable, but really not going to be a problem. And unlike the other ones like Dangers and White Dragon, I wouldn't really be looking out for this to be a possible threat in the near future. It's not a combo or synergistic really reliant, unless they randomly come up with a deck that has graveyard effect, continuous spells, and traps that just magically works with the Draco cards. But that have to be very like clearly made to work together.
Next up, we have Mathemax Circular.
Okay, it's just weird. Like, I almost wonder if they're trying to merge formats. I mean, obviously, this is still very far cry from Master Duel. Master Duel is the Wild West, and OCG is also very different. But Circular 1 isn't going to be a problem. Wait, no, actually, it might be, because if you're playing Sign of Minding in Malice, it's a really good starter. And the cost is playing 1 Sigma, which just summons itself from hand, and that plays with Malice still. That's not a problem. Like, you make Splash Mage if you get Veiler, it's not a huge deal. If you play this spell or trap, I doubt, because it's not worth the bricks, but it means you have 2 bodies, like a Strikers, without committing extra spots, which is nice. Is it even better than Striker cards, though? I guess it's better to Droll. Yeah, I think that, and you can sign up mining for them. I mean, it's a pretty minimal commitment. Those cards are good. I always forget. Mathmech itself, lone deck, probably not going to be good enough. It's faded into Oblivion in Master Duel. I imagine the same position here in TCG. The Charmies hurts, Droll hurts a lot, Power Creep hurts, while they're not getting new support. However, Circular's flexibility, being any cyber stack, really means that, honestly almost anything, means that there is a good chance that we could just continue playing it in other decks. So yeah, don't count it out, I guess.
All right, last monster on the list, Ryziel Detonator to 1.
What? Ryziel Detonator 2-1. People were, I can't imagine people were cheering about this. This is weird. The second Detonator is, I'm not going to say it's unimportant, because everyone plays 2 for a reason. The thing is, killing 1 doesn't really mean you got rid of it, because that means twins against it. It means if you can banish it, that's nice, but in reality, it's rare that you get to banish it, because say you have Drill Beam and you get to target the Detonator, it'll chain a pop itself. So I guess it means, ironically, Bestials are more impactful against Detonator now. So it means there's a little more nuance into interaction, but it doesn't make a huge change into the deck. That being said, if you have less good Rise-like seeds, anything that reinforces playing the Fiendsmith cards, because it means you have ulterior engines to rely on. Good, okay, what's next?
Bonfire.
Oh, okay. I guess this gives a little more credence to some of the Rise-like hits. Now, the engine, okay, this is huge consistency hits, right? Because it's 2 Bonfire, 1 X, 1 Ice, 1 Sword is 5. 5 from 12, so you go down almost half. That is huge. And the deck was a little inconsistent before, so you will rely on other engines now, or have to play Tachyon. It means like the pure Rizal in the form we know it's like not the one that my team won with, but the team that the one that's been popular before Tachyon, still popular now. It's in totally type builds. Probably just unviable completely. You need to either have other engines or the Tachyons, but the Tachyon should make up a fair bit of it. That being said, do you still play big draws with Tachyon? Probably not, because the reason to play it was to clear up redundant hands of too many monsters. You're not going to have that problem with half of the Rizals in your deck. Oh, I guess Bonfire to 1 also means the Snake Eye Ash is less searchable, so let's hit that point. Konami is, yeah, alright, whatever. What's next?
Brilliant Fusion.
Brilliant Fusion, oh, the Gemini cards are coming out soon, right. I don't remember what those cards do, but I remember reading one of them was like a circular. Those cards were good, that's all I remember. I don't remember if what they did exactly. It's not worth the 1 brilliant, 1 garnet brick to put in other decks like you would in the past, because you could argue it's still going to be playable at that point, but it would be a reasonable engine or extension in a lot of different decks in Yu-Gi-Oh's future. But at 1, it's not worth 1 and 1. The only time you play it is if you can search it, or if you don't already playing Gem Knight cards. And I think that makes this good for Gem Knights, and I'm happy for this.
So next up, we do have Crossout Designator.
Would love if it was banned, but this card is one of my biggest frustrations. It's just always either unplayable or way too broken. I mean, Talents and Crossouts, Call by Draw. Those were the 10 cards we talked about in our Vegas deck list as the reasons we won. So cutting that out is a step in my direction. Still, though, would like to see it banned. What else we got?
Last card on the limited list, Triple Tactics Talent.
All right, so continuing with that theme. Talents at 1 is interesting more so than Crossout, because yes, it means you can't, you don't have as often going first. That's the biggest thing to care about, but going second, that's not true, because we have Thrust. And that means you do essentially still have access to 4 copies. And I've had several decks throughout the past few years that I've done well with that play 1 Talents, 3 Thrust. Unchained is a big one like that. However, where Talents is broken going first, Thrust can also be toxic going first. Not game 1, which is nice, but post side, setting cards like Barrier and DDG, Mission for the Gnomes, is still something I would like to not see exist. But this is still moving towards less of the kind of insta-game over type of turns, because the games where it's like Crossout Talents, Rizal combo, obviously the game ends there. That's bad Yu-Gi-Oh! That's when Rizal isn't fun, so I'm happy to see that gone. You said that was the last limit?
Yep, now we're on to the Forbidden section.
Okay, so sure.
Okay. First up, we do have Nightmare Griffin.
This is a direct result of all of you guys complaining, which I guess is good because I like it when Konami listens to the player base. However, this is one where the player base is just wrong. That being said, I don't think this card is, or I don't think it's bad this card is banned. It is overall pretty toxic. However, right now in this format, it really doesn't matter that much. Yes, Mal summons it, but half the time it's not correct for him to go for it. It's a risky play. Its payoff is not even that high. A bow is honestly the good card there, and I don't think a bow is broken. But yeah, so I think Griffin is overall really, this is their Mal's hit, that's nothing.
So next up we have Link Decoder, actually.
Okay, so yeah, Link Decoder, the actual Mal's hit there. This is actually pretty big, and I really like this hit. It's not something I thought of, but when it was brought up to me as a potential hit, I kind of thought about it, and it's cool because it makes the normal Malice plus Bistro line not just insta game over, where you need 3 hand traps to compete, which is so stupid. Now 2 should give you a chance. They are forced to have more extenders to keep up with the hand traps. So now the ratio to hand traps to engine or to extenders should align more closely to what it should be, not like with Fiendsmith Snake Eye, where 2 hand traps doesn't beat 2 cards. So even like the 1 card combos or other card combos, if they don't get hand trapped, they are just still less overall. And playing into Nibiru as well becomes a little more tricky. I do like it. I think it's a good change overall, for sure.
All right, so next up we have Dweller.
You said Shifter was my favorite card to go to 1. I actually really hate Dweller. And obviously, you guys seen that in the finals as well, where literally months after I got shifted in the finals was Ray, I got Dweller 4 times in the finals by Hani. So I've seen my fair share of Dweller, and I'm very happy to see it go. Now just Master Duel as well. It's actually crazy. We called this, and it's not that surprising because OCG did it, and OCG was the region I thought would hold out on not banning Dwellers. The fact they did it meant I was sure we'd follow their lead. I think fantastic change, and now Graveyard decks can compete with Rizal. I'm looking for Fire King and Mermail. But Mermail, okay. There has to be a Mermail hit on this, right?
Yep, you're correct. You want to know what it is?
Toad or Shark?
Shark.
I still think Toad is the better ban. I was wrong in the prediction because I called Toad being banned. Shark being banned, I think means actual Shark loses out. I think Shark get Lavirtue Dragon is cool. It is kind of a cheat mechanic with Shark getting rank 3 or lower, and that is potentially feasible, and like future card design could be punched for it. But as long as Toad is banned in others and Shark is legal in the other formats, I don't think new cards will be printed that really exploit that interaction to an insane degree. Whereas Toad, if there's ever good Aquas, or like Elf, makes those interactions kind of stupid. Toad is still an incredible card, it's just now hard to summon. If it ever becomes summonable again, it's a problem. But okay, that should keep Mermail into check. I think Mermail is better than people give it credit for. It has a lot of interruptions still. It means no hard negates, not insane follow-up, but still a good follow-up. It's still crazy going second though, and still solid going first. So I actually think the deck is better than people give credit. That being said, this is a big, meaningful hit.
Yep, and that's actually the entire ban list.
Okay.
Yeah. The another thing you could, I guess, mention is your servicing Big Jaws tech from your 3v3 is kind of out of there too.
I mean, I guess it is, but as I already said, you're probably not playing it because you just need to. Oh, I brought it up because of the Tachyon thing. You don't have redundancy, but you're definitely not playing it now. I still think that Rizal and Malice are very good, but Rizal took a bigger hit. I think consistency and long run is a bit worse. You have to play more neg cards. Malice cards are insane broken. I'm interested to see if Graveyard decks, Fire King, Memento we already saw win, and Mermails are going to jump into the scene, because I think those are the decks that'll take its place and round out the format as several tier 1 decks. Blue Eyes, unfortunately, as much as I think the deck is good, is still not pushing the edge of tier 1 status. And despite no hits, they didn't benefit either, where the other decks just directly did. So we'll see, but that's my predictions for now. Check back next week as I have time to sit on it. I'll give you guys a more in-depth, proper thought, and I'm excited to explore the new format. Okay, so a little bit of an afterthought. I'm walking out of the venue right now. They're rushing us out, so I didn't have time to think about this. But they just didn't hit Fiendsmith, which, if you'd asked me before today what gets hit, I'd say Malice gets hit, Raza gets hit, both in a way that doesn't kill the deck but does meaningfully impact them, at least somewhat. And then I'd say maybe Dweller gets banned, and if Dweller gets banned, then Mermail gets hit. And all that's relatively right, with how it happens not being maybe how I predicted it. However, I also would have said Fiendsmith is getting hit to some degree. Whether it be aggressive or consistency hits, it was neither. And that's very surprising to me. And so I guess, yes, Engraver is getting reprinted any day now, or in a couple days. And that does mean that they want to sell it. But, like, by that logic, if they had just done the small hits like we said, like hit Moon, it would still be good. Maybe they don't think it will be good enough, and they just still want Engraver to 3. I don't know. This gives me somewhat of an interest to try out Fiend Link, like what I mentioned with the Shavara at 2. Probably not getting the Detonator either, but maybe all those decks in general just get better as Rizal is weakened. It is undeniably weakened. So is Malice. Still, this will be huge for the future. For right now, the Fiends and the cards are nothing to ignore. And I can't believe I didn't think of it immediately. I can't believe there's like nothing there. Yeah. Long live Fiendsmith.